Welcome to Live with Heather Vickery. I am your host, Heather Vickery, in the flesh. It's me. Hi, everyone. I am running a little bit on fumes today, so I apologize in advance. I was up at 5 a.m. to take my daughter to the airport, and I am not a morning person. So that is just to show you how much I love my children. She knows it too. So I'm kind of fuzzy brained, but I'm really excited to be here today because today's topic is about manifesting and how you can't manifest around misalignment. So, for those of you who are new, welcome. Again, my name is Heather Vickery. I am a transformation coach. What I do is I help people just like you go from where you are to where you want to be by getting to know yourself, to truly know, like, and trust yourself, and then rewiring whatever bullshit stories are keeping you from having a life that you're madly in love with. I do that mainly through human design, NLP, subconscious reprogramming, positive psychology, and then, of course, I'm a trained and skilled success and leadership coach as well. I host a podcast called Was It Chance? And it's so much fun. I co-host it with my friend Alan. We interview highly successful creatives on the intentional risks they've taken on their path to creative success. Talk about manifestation. We do a lot of that in that show. I'm also an author and a speaker. But what I love to do is help folks just like you just turn on a little light. Just go, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. I can create this shift. I can have more. I can be more. I want you to learn to lead from embodied joy because we have to flip the script. We're shifting the way business is done. We're shifting the way life is done. We're shifting what it means to be a conscious, heart-centered leader in the whole world, but especially here in America, by learning to lead from embodied joy. Because when we show up from a place of aligned joy, we show up differently. We engage differently. We get better results. We get different results and they're better results. And it truly is a beautiful game changing decision to choose joy, to choose yourself, and to decide that you want to be in control of your life. You want to be the main character in your own life instead of letting everybody else run the show, instead of just sort of being a passerby in your life. This is what I call taking radical responsibility for yourself. So, any container folks find themselves with me in, we're always going to look at it from a lens of taking radical responsibility for yourself before anything else. It doesn't mean that other people don't do shitty things. It doesn't mean that there aren't big problems, because there are. We want to acknowledge them, all of that. But you want to then say, okay, given this situation, who do I want to be in this moment? What do I want to do in this moment? What am I going to choose? What intentional action am I going to take so that I can be radically responsible for myself? When we do that, we open up better communication. We have better boundaries. We prioritize ourselves. We protect our peace, and we can still be joyful even when there's shit going on that doesn't feel very joyful. I see one of my TikTok friends here. Zeta. Is that your actual name? Red, White, and Zeta is her tag on here. And you know what brings me a lot of joy right now is the fact that we bond over the fact that cornbread shouldn't be sweet. You know, life is really short. Find ways to be joyful. Find ways to connect that mean something to your heart and to your soul. That's just a silly little example, right? The cornbread, but it's a good one because, you know, it can't all be heavy all the time. There's a book called The 7 Habits that really changed my perspective on a lot of things. Yep, that's a great one. You could try my book too. It's called Fuck Fearless, Making the Brave Leap. I go through the Brave Method in it. And the Brave Method is my creative, strategic approach to problem solving, dreaming, designing, building, actually having a life that you're madly in love with. You get to do that. And you can't do that if you're misaligned, right? So manifestation often gets, hey, Steph, how are you? Manifestation often gets sort of railroaded into good vibes only. Can only be good things. We're going to vision board and it's all going to, just be lovely and glowy. No amount of glittering affirmations is going to land your internal wiring where you want it to be if it's settled in chaos. I'm a big fan of manifestation. I used to host manifestation power hours. I have manifestation journals are right there. Um, Manifestation is amazing, but manifestation doesn't just magically happen because you've declared something. Manifestation happens because you've declared something and then you've shifted the way you show up in the world to make it happen. You have to make it happen. You have to take radical responsibility for yourself and your life. And you cannot do that if you are misaligned, right? So manifestation is never about like plastering your fears with positivity. Lots of positivity doesn't work for anyone. It sucks. It's not healthy. We have mixed emotions. Lots of things are going on at once. We have sometimes negative thoughts or feelings. It's okay to just honor them. Give yourself lots of self-compassion. I'm a big fan of Kristen Neff's self-compassion work. I will literally give myself self-compassionate touch, like feeling really frustrated, feeling really angry or sad or hurt or whatever. Go ahead and feel it and process it and move through it, right? Let your body release it. But you want to be honest about it. And this is where I like to encourage people to truly um, take a moment to reassess and reflect, like, what happened? What led to that? Uh, is there anything I could do about it? Sometimes there's not. So if there's nothing you can actually do, there's still one thing you can do to create change. Y'all know what it is? You can change your mindset. You can shift the way you perceive it so that it's something you can process. Stephanie, like, make your goal now and go after your goal. Yes, you have to go. Yeah, you have to make your goal and go after your goal. That's exactly right. When I talk, the question I think is about manifestation. Manifestation is declaring something and then shifting the way you show up in the world to make it happen. So, for example, I am hosting a retreat in Costa Rica. It's in January of 2026. I have a maximum of 30 spots available. I have been to the facility. I signed this giant ass contract with this incredible luxury retreat facility. And then my affirmation, because I love affirmation. I do subliminal audio for it. I do all of this. My affirmation is I am hosting a sold out retreat at the Emaloa Institute in Costa Rica in January 2026. That's the affirmation. And I repeat it over and over and over again to rewire my subconscious mind. But there has to be action behind it. One of the actions I took recently was being a guest on Stephanie's podcast to talk about the importance of retreats, the importance of human design and subconscious reprogramming, right? One of the actions I take is reaching out to local health and wellness practitioners so that they know about me and my work and the event and they can share it with people they know. I've talked to past clients. I post videos all over TikTok. If I see somebody posting about travel, then I will respond and say, oh my gosh, I love to travel also. I'm hosting a retreat in Costa Rica. You should join us, right? You don't ever know what's going to get you where you need to go, but you got to try things. You got to put yourself out there. You have to explore. You have to expand. You have to try new things. And resiliency, which is the number one key indicator into whether or not a person will be successful, resiliency is simply the skill of believing that you're not stuck and looking at something again from a different perspective and getting up and trying it again in a new way. Hey, Carrie, right? That's what resiliency is. So if I just want to walk around and say, I'm hosting a sold out retreat in Costa Rica at the MLO Institute in January 2026, but I don't change my behavior to actually put this in front of other people who could say yes to it, it won't work. Manifestation requires action and it requires alignment. It's grounded. It's practical. It's about creative action and it's often about choosing differently than what you've chosen before. There's an old saying that says, what got you here won't get you there. And I think that that is true to some degree. Some of what got you here will get you there, but where you want to go next is a whole different place from where you have been before and where you are right now. So you have to show up differently. And you can't know how you want to show up differently if you don't take the time to pause, reassess, and reflect and think about how you're actually feeling about this. How did you feel about who you were in this moment? Did you get the results that you wanted? Did you enjoy it? Do you want to do something differently? Super powerful to ask ourselves those questions. Energetic congruence is where magic clicks into place. When your body feels safe, right? And your energy matches your desires. When your subconscious stops screaming danger, you open up to manifestation. Your subconscious is powerful. Okay, Carrie said, so how do you get over the thought that you're not good enough? Ugh, I want to start writing. Okay, let's talk about this more. Carrie, you should come to my open office hours next Tuesday. I host free open office hours every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central because this is a really important core topic. How do you get over the thought that you're not good enough? Carrie wants to write. I got you. Let come to my office hours. We can talk about this for sure. Um, Beans, I will say this. You can be scared and still do the thing. You can be scared and say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? And I always encourage people to break it down and start really, 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 really slow. So, for example, I have had a new book in my mind for a couple of years now. And there's just been block after block after block and excuse after excuse after excuse because I am just like the rest of you. I don't have it all together all the time. I just have the tools and resources that move me through things quicker. Those are the tools and resources I hope to share with folks, with you. But last Saturday, I was driving and the whole book just came to me. I used the term download. It download. I was like, oh, here it is. Here's the book. Here's the topic. Here's the outline. I came home. I wrote out the outline. And this week I wrote the introduction. So just start really small because you can change your mind and you can move things around and you're not stuck. And who's going to judge you but you? When I wrote this book, which I just showed everybody, but I'm going to show you guys again, Stop Fearless, Making the Brave Leap. Um, my daughter, it published on the 25th of October, 2021 now. Yeah, I think so. And that Halloween, I apologized to my youngest daughter, who I think was 9 at the time. And I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry I didn't decorate for Halloween. Are you disappointed?" And she goes, "Mama, you made a whole book. I think it's okay you didn't decorate for Halloween," right? Like we expect more from ourselves than other people expect from us. So you got to just start. But Carrie, join me on Tuesday for open office hours. Anybody is welcome. You're all welcome. And we can break that down a little bit more. So where I was going with this is, if you think of an iceberg, if you think of your mind like an iceberg, the part of the iceberg you can see on the top of the water is your conscious mind. But 95% of the iceberg is under the water. 95% of your mind is subconscious and it runs the show. This is why you can consciously think something, but yet you don't take action. Subconsciously, you're protecting yourself. You're afraid. The world has told you you have to play small. The world has told you you couldn't possibly be good at it. There are other people who would do it better. Like whatever the bullshit story is, your subconscious mind is just going and going and going and going and going. You don't have to accept that. You can shift and change your subconscious beliefs. You have that power because remember, you're now taking radical responsibility for yourself. I can't do that for you. You have to do that. You have to say, despite this fear or despite this knowledge or despite this fact, I am going to take this intentional action because I want to see what will happen when I do. Because I want to try this new thing. I want to expand and explore and be playful and find out for myself what's on the other side. If you've decided that you already know how everything will turn out, might as well just lay down and die. You're done. That was harsh. That was a very harsh statement, but I mean it sincerely. We have to let go of the tunnel vision, the binary belief that we know how everything is going to end because we don't. Here's a fun fact, a crazy fun fact. I might have shared this with you, Stephanie, on your podcast. I don't remember, but one of my favorite facts. In 2021, the Nobel Prize for Physics went to 3 physicists who have proven scientifically that the universe does not locally exist, that we're experiencing it like a hologram. So when we talk about manifestation, when we talk about shifting and creating energy and changing ourselves neurologically, I want you to think about that. So it's very similar to the speed of light, the speed of sound. We know they originate over here before we experience them over here. We know that already. Everyone has accepted that science. Well, the universe is the same way. Time is the same way. There's a really great book called The Big Leap. Yeah, right here by Gay Hendricks. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. He talks about Einstein time, and that's the same concept. Time can be shifted and manipulated. That's what manifestation is. But you have to change in that process. You have to change in that process. Something has to be different. Now, one of the things that I love for me As somebody who's board accredited as an NLP subconscious reprogramming practitioner, I love finding ways to make this big, heavy work feel easier. I love subliminal audios for that. I listen to subliminal audios all the time. I create them whenever I have a conscious awareness of a block. Again, I practice what I preach: reassessment, reframing, resilience. I'm like, if something shows up to me loud and clear, I'm like, oh, snap. I got to fix that. I get into doer mode. I had a past client once say I was a doist. I was always having people do. Hell yeah, I'm a doist. Hell yes, I am. We all need to be doists. Sometimes the thing I'm doing is resting. That's okay too. Sometimes we move fast and we hustle and we get shit done, and sometimes we rest. Sometimes we choose the sweet treat instead of the healthy one. Sometimes we set a boundary. Sometimes we say no. Sometimes we say yes. But you can't know what the right thing for you to do is unless you take the time to reflect and reassess and decide what you want to do with that knowledge and awareness. Knowledge is power. Once you know something for sure, you cannot unknow it. It's there. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Right? So I love subliminal audios because they make this work a little bit easier for me. They allow me to rewire my subconscious mind while I'm off doing other things that are required throughout the day. Taking my shower, I'll listen to them while I'm doing my work, making dinner, taking the dog for a walk, whatever it is. And because my work centers around combining human design and subconscious reprogramming, I did something really cool. How many of you know your human design? You know your human design. Are you curious about it? Steph and I talked about it a ton on her podcast, which was really fun. So cool. We had such a great time. It's called Nosy AF. You got to go listen to the episode. So much fun. Human design is a modern scientific self-discovery system based on several different ancient sciences and philosophies. It is all about living into yourself fully and completely, knowing who you are, how you're designed to experience the world, and then working with it. You can't change anything in your human design. You can't fix anything in your human design because you are perfectly designed. You're just unique. You're not like anybody else. You're you and nobody else is like that. So I want you to learn to understand yourself and work with it. If you don't know your human design and you want to, go to the link in my bio wherever you're watching this and go to the link. You can get a free human design chart on my website. So much fun, so fascinating. And so I created human design specific subliminal audios. Because just knowing your human design doesn't automatically erase years of subconscious reprogramming. You can't necessarily you can understand yourself and still find yourself repeating the same old patterns and being stuck over and over again. And so this is why I created the subliminal audios, to bypass your conscious mind and deliver affirmations and new beliefs and energetic shifts that you desire straight into your subconscious without the resistance, without having to put a whole lot of effort forth. You just have to decide you want to listen to it and click play, which is pretty freaking great, right? It's like giving your nervous system a new script, and one that says, yes, this is safe. This is who we are now, and that's okay. This is safe. And I love that. Steph says, I need to manifest my desire to move my body and get to working out again. Okay, listen, pal. Same, hard same. I am 50. I am in perimenopause, and I went to the doctor last week. And for the first time in my life, my blood pressure is high. I'm not here for that. I don't want that. Um, yes, I'm trying to manifest around it. Yes, I'm envisioning having, great health, but I also need to move my body. Basically, when you're in perimenopause, they tell you strength training. So maybe, Stephanie, we can be accountability partners for moving our bodies. How would you feel about that? We could either do something in person because you're local here to me, or we can just support each other virtually. But I'm a big fan of accountability partners. I'm a big fan of having a support system. It's one of the things that I do for clients all day long is I cheer them on, I support them, I push in loving ways, but also, I'm here for a hug when things are challenging. I'm kind of a no nonsense, no bullshit coach. I will call things like I see it, but I'm also going to hug you afterwards and tell you how great you are for showing up and putting in the effort and the work. I believe in celebrating even the tiniest, smallest things because it's the compound effect. The tiny, small things add up. Again, that's why I love subliminal audios because they're simple and they're quiet and they play in the background, but they add up. They layer and layer and layer and layer. And so all of a sudden, you embody these traits that you choose to embody that you want. Knowing, liking, and trusting in yourself, feeling confident standing up for yourself, feeling your value and your worth, trusting yourself to try new and challenging things, being willing to set boundaries, to say yes to things, to say no to things, whatever that looks like for you. I like subliminal audios because they're subtle, but you're gonna start noting when you listen to them. So if you're curious, I have, the human design subliminal audios on my website, as well as I think there are 4 different ones for different limiting beliefs. I created them for myself, and I decided to share them with everybody else. You can go to my website and find those right there. But I created them, and people are now telling me that they're noticing how decisions that feel used to feel really complicated suddenly feel simple. Like maybe they were forcing things before and now things move more easily and more swiftly. They just feel more aligned and more unapologetic. How cool is that? Like did they just it just they just trust themselves more and they don't have to apologize for showing up and taking up space and being who they are and being themselves and asking for what they want and setting boundaries. You don't have to apologize for that anymore. Opportunities I'm hearing people say that opportunities are showing up more readily, or maybe we're just seeing new opportunities more clearly. Things that we might have shut down or not paid attention to before, all of a sudden now we recognize them for what they are, and then we can take action on it. It's just such a beautiful opportunity. So I want you to do whatever it is that you can to feel more aligned, whether that's moving your body, whether that's trying a new hard thing. Somatic work helps me with that. I do EFT tapping for alignment. Take clients through that as well. Hypnotherapy. I have subconscious shift sessions. We can go through all sorts of things like that. And also these subliminal audios. So if you're interested in that, let me know or check on my website. The other thing is, if you wanna really deeply lean into embodiment and alignment so that you can manifest your crazy and wild dreams, you should join me in Costa Rica in January of 2026. This experience is all about embodying your truest, most aligned, most amazing, most beautiful self. I picked this venue very specifically. This is not your average resort or hotel. It is a beautiful luxury retreat center that is on this land that is alive. It is so alive. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I have do not disturb on and it's still ringing, so I don't understand. Um, I literally felt like there was a golden cord coming up through the core of the earth through my body and connecting me to the cosmos. I vibrated with the energy of the universe. And despite the noise of the jungle, and the jungle is noisy, I felt silence for the first time. I could hear myself, my true inner voice, my clear intuition, my awareness, my knowing, could hear it loud and clear for perhaps the first time in my life because I felt still. I felt settled. This is the gift you can give yourself if you decide to join me in Costa Rica in January of next year, 2026. Not only that, not only is the land spectacular, but we have beautiful curated experiences with somatic movement. We're doing some group hypnotherapy and EFT tapping. Conscious, we'll be spending a lot of time doing sort of conscious awareness, some inquiry, self inquiry, and reflection and reframing. But also, we have beautiful practices with Indigenous practitioners, healing and health practitioners. A blue clay ceremony on the edge of the riverbank, which is to die for. It was one of the most incredible experiences I've had in my entire life, as well as sound bath and breath work. We're going to have gorgeous anti-inflammatory, plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free food that's made by local, beautiful chefs. Everything's organic. Everything's locally sourced, right? So this is a full body, full soul immersion for you. It is time for you to say yes to yourself in a way that you probably have not done before. Here's the thing: the quiet, the space, the time to connect with yourself, to ask yourself big questions and actually listen for the answer, the time to honor your rest and relaxation and give yourself space to really breathe, it's not going to find you. You have to choose it. It's not going to find you. You have to choose it. What does that look like for you? Be honest with yourself. Take that time and give yourself that gift. Can spouses come if they don't want to be in the retreat? Steph, that's a really great question. Um, I do have one spouse coming, and he specifically asked if he could participate. And I think I would say potentially yes to that, although the spouses would be really missing out. We would want to make sure that any spouses that are coming feel safe to the rest of the group, right? But yeah, I think so. And doesn't matter what the gender is. I would be transparent. We do have one male spouse coming. And he wants to be in the space. But I do attract some men. I do have some male clients. It's not just women, even though I speak more directly to women with my experiences. I work with some really fantastic men. So yes, although the price is not different. So I would encourage them to maybe give it a try. The spouses might learn something amazing about themselves. Who knows? Did I answer your question, Steph? Okay. So before I close out my live show, I always like to draw a Create Brave card. These are a deck of manifestation cards I co-created with my friend Rachel Swanson. She's a creativity coach and I'm the Brave Method coach. And so these just sort of help you think about what's showing up for you in your life in a new and unique way. Call yourself on your bullshit just a little bit. The cards are gorgeous. Aren't they beautiful? We have these glitter teal edges. They're so pretty. They come in this cool magnetic box. If you want a set, find the shop on my website. The link in my bio, wherever you're watching this, you can get a set. They're so great. So let's see what this message is. He might want to participate, but I could see him just wanting to check out Costa Rica, but I will ask him. All right, Steph, ask. I dropped the card. The card that is for you all today went on the floor, so I'm going to go grab it. Oh, y'all. Stephanie, this was for us, maybe. Accountability. I find people and systems that help me stay on task, dream big, and achieve greatness. Accountability. I'm going to read it again. I find people and systems that help me stay on task, dream big, and achieve greatness. Y'all do not have to do this life, whatever this is, your business, your podcast, your writing, your journey, whatever it is. You don't have to do this by yourself. Accountability means creating accountability systems. It means creating accountability partnerships and relationships. It means that if you want your big, wild, hairy, crazy dreams to come true, you have to hold your feet to the fire. You have to hold yourself accountable. It's really tricky to do that by yourself. Self-accountability is one of those things I just kind of call bullshit on. It's like everyone thinks that they're supposed to just be able to hold themselves accountable all the time and get shit done. But you know what? That is not real life for most people. Find life hacks, find systems, find people who help you achieve your dreams and goals, who want to support you. I know Stephanie because we are in a feminist podcast collective together. We hold each other accountable. We support each other. We listen, we love, we celebrate, we ask hard questions, we push, we support, all of that. It works because we hold each other accountable, right? That is important. I have several different accountability relationships in my life. Find the ones that work for you. And if you are looking for support, I am always here to do that. I am a transformation coach. I have community memberships. I do one-on-one clients. I do retainer clients. I host these retreats. The next one coming up is in Costa Rica. There are so many ways to get support. You do not have to do this alone. Trust yourself. Choose yourself. And on that, I'm going to close this conversation. My name is Heather Vickery. And if you take nothing else from today, I want you to close your eyes and take a big deep breath in through your nose. Release with a sigh. And I want you to decide today to choose yourself bravely because you are worth it. You are worth being chosen. You are worthy simply because you exist, you are here, and therefore you are valuable and worthy. Thank you so, so much for hanging out with me, for being here in this space, for showing up for yourself. You want to join my open office hours on Tuesdays? You'll find the link for that in my bio. It's free. Come hang out. I'll be back next Thursday for another episode of Live with Heather Vickery. And if you want to talk about any of the ways I can support you, just let me know. Take care, everybody. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the week. Bye. Okay. Gonna turn it off in all the places. Turn it off in all the places. We're gonna say goodbye to my friends on Substack right now. Thank you for coming. Thanks for the support. I appreciate you. It was awesome. Steph, let's talk about whether or not your husband or your partner wants to come to Costa Rica. I would love to have the two of you there so much. And if anybody else is new, please connect with me. Say hi. It was such a pleasure to share space with you today. Okay. It's so weird because I'm on my iPad. Because here's my phone and there's my computer. So when I go to shut it off, you get like my big hand. So I'm sorry.